Hey family, we are live, broadcasting live. This is the Conversation Room 101. Make sure it's only adults in the house. I need your mind to be open, prepared, and relaxed. Welcome to our home. Take your shoes off. We got some rules we need to go over. Be kind. No cursing in the chat. If you want to curse, call in. And no shouting out other channels. That's a no-no. We got one other rule. There is no judging our guests. It will not be permitted. Zero tolerance. And if so, you want to do that, guess what? We got security. And we will escort you out. Because over here, hashtag we don't care. We're going to be one big family. We're going to laugh together sometimes. We're going to cry. But we definitely going to pray. I thank the Lord above for everything. I lift him up and give him the glory. But you guys, right now, we're going to get our popcorn. And then we're going to see what's going on. And let me just park my car. And I'll be in there in a minute. I see you soon.
The Copyright Disclaimer Act. The Copyright Disclaimer Act under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news, reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is used permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Like, share, subscribe.
Do you want to know? Well, I've been thinking about you. And I think you'll have to listen. Because the sun is up, it's a beautiful day.
And we won't stop. We will not stop.
Sun. Come, won't you come along? And it feels so right. It's like luck is raining on me. Go and follow your heart. Doesn't matter how far. There is so much love to give. Something's telling me this time. Baby, baby, now
See this?
I
How you cannot go
Baby,
again?
baby, gotta go. There is so much love to give. Something's telling me it's right.
Neighbors and the
When you
community
came to me,
compelled to
who are
scour
you?
the area.
It's you, yeah, boy.
Where does the fault lie on you?
Hey family, how's everybody doing? You guys, we coming on today because there's just a little bit of update in the Emmanuel case. And I want to share with you. And then we're going to chat and then we're going to get on off of here. But I got something to share with you today. So we didn't come on Monday. I changed up my medication and I'm all out of whack. So I'm just letting you guys know, I got to call the doctor again and tell her this ain't working either. This is just giving me it. She took me off the one medication that was making me sleep, and now I've got the headaches back. So I don't know what she's going to do, but we're going to have to get it right. I want to share something with you guys, and I need your guys' opinion also. So let's get off into the update on the Emmanuel case. If you new here, you don't know what we're talking about. It's a little boy. He's 7 months old. He came up missing in the California area. The mother, Rebecca, had went to the Big Five store in Ucapa and said that somebody said, hola, hit her in the back of the head. She ended up with 2 black eyes. This was allegedly the story. And took her 7-month-old baby. And she didn't get to see who it was. She seen all white. So that is the case in a nutshell. And the only thing we've been hearing lately is, the DA talking about the judge and how the judge didn't give Jake, that's the father, penitentiary time when he had a prior case with his 10 weeks old child, which was a little girl, left her bedridden. When they say bedridden, it means that she's in a wheelchair. She can't see, she can't walk, she can't talk. She just really messed up. She had broken ribs. She was hemorrhaging from the brain, all this stuff. So, but some things been bothering me. So I kind of want to just talk about a little bit of what they did in court. They went to court. Let's see here. Let me try to swipe it in here. They went to court. It says almost 2 weeks after Jake and Rebecca pleaded not guilty for the murder charge of their 7-month-old child, Emmanuel. Today they were back in court for the felony statement conference. The felony statement. Now that is a charge before the child came up missing, where he was on some kind of probation and he got caught. Felons, people that are felons, that even though he didn't do no penitentiary time, his case was felonies. They gave him probation. Well, he was on probation and he ended up getting caught with a gun. So we'll look a little bit into that because I would like to define exactly what that is, and we'll read what they say. This is the latest information. So it says so they were back in court. I think it's the 15th. The 15th would have been Monday. They was back in court Monday. And only but the attorneys talked. Rebecca didn't say anything. Jake didn't say anything. So anyway, so they were back in court for the felony settlement conference. And this will be a hearing between arraignments and a preliminary hearing. The point of the hearing is to provide both sides a clearer understanding of the opposing party's case and the potential outcomes. So I don't think Rebecca was there at the court because she was not on no probation. Okay, so it says today Jake's attorney filed to push back the felony statement conference, and even though Rebecca's attorney objected, the judge granted that request. So Rebecca's attorney was there. So Rebecca probably was there. And I don't know why. Maybe because it's like, hey, let's not even do the felony on the gun yet because we got all this other stuff going on. And so Jake's attorney was like, let's push it back. And Rebecca's attorney objected. So the judge granted it in request. The new date for the felony statement conference will be on October the 16th. And the start of the preliminary hearing will be on October the 28th. So October the 16th, I don't have my calendar here. October the 16th, a week after that, then they will start on the preliminary hearing for the murder of Emmanuel. And then that it says, which will be where the judge determines if there is enough evidence or probable cause to believe a crime was committed. You guys hear what I just said? See, I'm gonna, I want to talk about two things. It is so hard now to get on here because I have to pick up Pooh Bear at 4:00. So I'm like, hey, we got to come on early because if I got to pick him up at 4, 1. So I try to come on around about 1, you guys, just to let you guys know. That's why the time has changed a little bit. Okay. So it's kind of weird to me that they it seemed, you know what I'm saying? Like they done arrested Rebecca and Jake, and they said they got all this information and they got all this evidence. But I guess it's just part of the proceedings that they have to do, and to go in front of the judge and see if they have enough evidence to ask the judge uh, for a trial. The same thing that we were looking at on the Naziah case. Those was the preliminaries. When you seen some of the witnesses coming in and they asking questions, they wasn't on trial. It was just a preliminary to say, hey, we got enough information. So that's what they're going to do October the 28th. So only October the 16th is just going to be on the felony for the gun charge. And then October the 28th, they will do the preliminary hearing. And that's when we will hear some information comes out, and some of the witnesses. We're not going to wait that long for the preliminary, you guys. He's not on trial, just to let you know. Okay? So, and then they just start talking about, that's all they said. Then they will start talking about a little over a month ago when the mother of Emmanuel, Rebecca, reported that she was struck outside of the Big Five in Ucapa. And then she came to Emmanuel was missing after both parents, Jake and Rebecca, spoke out begging the community to have their son back. Law enforcement saw inconsistencies with Rebecca's story. Afterwards, both parents was uncooperative, but before, Rebecca was cooperating with the law enforcement. And then on Friday, August the 22nd, both Rebecca and Jake was arrested in their home in Cabazon for the murder of the son. After the arrest, Jake was seen with Riverside County sheriffs off of the shoulder of Highway 60, leading everybody to believe that he was helping with the search. But, when they had the press conference and they asked the DA, was Jake helping and cooperating? They said he was just there to look. He wasn't helping them. They said it's the weirdest thing to me how they came on and was like, no, he wasn't helping us. What do you mean he wasn't? But you don't take somebody out of jail just to let them roam around outside watching y'all look for a child. There had to be some kind of a cooperating there. Person cooperating, being cooperative, whatever you want to call it. So both parents again have pleaded not guilty to the murder, and both the felony statement conference and preliminary hearing have been pushed back to October the 16th and the 28th. For updates on the Emmanuel trial, the case that has caught the attention of many nationwide, you would think this case has caught the attention to a lot of people. And and that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. Freddie says, I know SP doesn't it just does not. I want to thank you guys for coming on in here. I know changing the time like we do, we're just going to have to just come on. You guys keep your notifications on. And when we just come on and we get in and we get out. We get in and we get out. Okay? So you guys will probably start seeing me a little bit more doing just some pop-ups, and just bear with me. We're just going to have to go back to the old school way. Like we just pop up until, we can set a good time. Because I got to see what's going on, like as far as my grandson and, other things and my health and stuff like that. So I just cannot guarantee a specific time anymore because it's just not working. It's just not working for me. And I know it don't work for you guys right now, but, we're just going to keep the channel up and going, and we're going to do what we got to do. Now, for the long time, I just want to share some thoughts that for some reason, When I look at the picture of Emmanuel with Rebecca holding that child, it just, like I seen that picture somewhere before, like I seen that child before. I don't know. I went back and tried to look to see if there was any pictures online of that child. Was it one of those unborn real live remake babies or something? But I mean, no, I haven't found that. I'm just letting you guys know. Hey, hey, Karen. Hey, Karen, how you doing? Hey, Lisa Calhoun, what's going on? I see Lisa Calhoun in the building. We got Connie in the building. That's Karen. Then and then, I mean, I don't know. Lisa Calhoun, Phyllis is in the house. Diva is in the building. How you guys doing? Thank you guys for showing up. I like to see y'all when y'all come in. I want to always say hello to you guys. But so that is the update on the Emmanuel. I told you guys anytime that there's an update or more information, you guys, we will open up the chat room. You guys can always ask questions, come and tell us something that we don't know. And like some people get mad when I be like, I don't know, that don't sound right. Where'd you get that from? Or da 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 da. Because a lot of people will put out information and then we're wondering, where did it come from? Now you're wondering why when you have misinformation, but you have a lot of people in there, because the Bible tells us people will have itching ears. I just don't want to lie on these people, because the worst thing in the world is to accuse somebody of something that they have not done. I'm serious, you guys. Now, it's okay, like, if you got it right. But, once you accuse someone and their reputation is gone, and, like, like, some people, you guys know what I'm talking about. Have you ever been in a situation where a friend of yours or a family member say you did something? You said something and you know what you said, or you took something from them and you know what you took. You took $10, or you did something. You can put into that scenario anything you want. Just get in them shoes for a minute. And just remember, when somebody said you said this about them, or you meant that about them, or you took $10 from them, and you know you didn't. You know you didn't. And they just for sure you did. You know how that feels? That don't feel good. And it normally hurts to the core when it's a family member or a friend, mainly a family member. It hurts. Like, let me give you guys an example, okay? That's why we say allegedly. And, sometimes I don't know if the baby even is a real baby. I just don't know. So I can't, I'm upset about the story, but it just seems like something is just not right about this case. So, you know what I'm saying? Something's just not right. Hey, Lisa Taylor, how you doing? And I look at the baby and the baby don't look real. And then I read certain posting about it from news, and they when they talk about the little sister that got abused, before Emmanuel was even in existence, they doesn't say she was 10 weeks old. They say 10 months. They say the name wrong. They got her name. I mean, it'd be so much misinformation. And we didn't used to have misinformation. Even the news get the information wrong. Even the news. I don't know What else? Hey, Tina Powers, how you doing? I see you in the building. But something, yes, Diva, something is not right about this case, you guys. The pictures that we see, like, why would Rebecca go to the big five and then say, I mean, because, okay, now they say they got some camera footage, some videos or whatever, and make up this big, fabulous lie and not clean up the blood in the house. That doesn't make sense. Or maybe they just, sprayed the stuff on there that detect that it was a lot of blood or something. But even if they did that, well, okay, is that enough evidence or information that the judge would say, yes, a crime has been committed? Now, you can probably say a crime has been committed about maybe there was a lie. So I'm just letting you guys know how I feel. And I'm sitting here, when I think about this case, I'm going, I have heard of some really crazy stories before. But I'm going to tell you guys something. When a person has chose to blame me or say I did something that I know for a fact I have not did, it burns me up. Now, can I be forgiving? Yeah, I can forgive the person. But now, I'll be like, especially if it's a family member, I don't want to have no dealings with you. Or if it's a friend, I now know what you think of me. Because if I would have even thought you thought that of me, hold on. Okay. That was really weird. That phone call was somebody. My husband and I, we went out and had some breakfast this morning. And then I told him, I said, let me show you the house I used to live at. And he said, okay. So I took him by this house I used to live at. The street, just let's say the street's name is Sarah. South Sarah. So the man just called me and asked me, he asked my name. I said, yes. And then he says, are you selling your house on South Sarah? Or do you have any houses you're wanting to sell or whatever? Okay, I don't even know what he's talking about. Because I don't, you know what I'm saying? Now, I'm gonna share this with you guys. We were talking about, Freddie says, I know it's a bad feeling. It is a bad feeling, you guys. Freddie says, I had so many lies told on me when I was living that life. That's when I got saved 20 years ago. Okay. Hey, Sugar Mama. Nope, you haven't got it yet. You haven't got it yet. I'm actually going to deal with that today, Sugar Mama. I will deal with it today. And unless you want me, I mean, if you got Cash App, I'll Cash App you. But if you want me to just mail it to you, I'll just mail it to you. But I haven't went to the post office. So many things been happening. So many. And I just got to call you. The only thing I got to do is I should have told my husband because he went to the post office, but he was trying to rush out of here when he did. But I promise you, I will get it out this week. I promise you. I won't do it today because it's like 1:30 and then I got to go pick up Pooh Bear. And once I pick up Pooh Bear, I got to, you know, but there's so much stuff going on in my life right now that I don't even think about it when I wake up. I'm just being honest with you. And that's just me. That's why I was telling everybody, hey, give me your cash out because I can get it to you more quicker than mail because I have to go in the town to go to the mail office. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, but trust and believe, I have not forgot you. I just don't wake up going, hey, that's something I got to do today. I really just need to put it on my refrigerator. So I'll do it. Matter of fact, I'll do it tomorrow. What's tomorrow? I promise you, I will do it tomorrow. But I will call you tonight just to make sure I got your address because I was trying to get a hold of somebody else and then I don't even have their address no more. For some reason, I don't have their address. And I used to have their address because I would send them some stuff. So I was headed, that way. I was going to go, we was going to be in the town where Sanjay lived. And so I was going to go check on her, because I still haven't heard from her. So I was going to go check on her, but I don't have the address. And I don't know why I don't have it. I just don't even know why I don't even have it. If you don't believe me, I even called Freddie and said, hey, Freddie, do we still have her address? And Freddie don't have it. I don't have it. So, and I'm pretty sure I got yours because I sent something to you. Matter of fact, let me see. This phone be dead all the time. And I'm pretty sure it's dead right now. Yep. Let me charge it up. Because that is the main. You guys think I'll be having all these excuses, but I just got to get another phone. This phone is hard to. You can charge it up for 2 hours and it's charged, and then you get ready to use it and there's no charge. So anyway, you guys, I want to talk to you guys about something. So you know how that feeling is when someone has accused you of something that you didn't do. You didn't do it. You would be very, 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 very upset with the person. And I know it's been a long time because we had the Christmas giveaway like the end of July. It is definitely my fault that I have not sent her. She's the only one that has not gotten her stuff. And Sonia Watts hadn't got hers because we don't know how to reach her. But because I don't have her address. But I do know I do have Sugar Mama's address. But it just keeps not even crossed my mind, my grandson had a car accident. And then, and I don't want to go on with all the things that I'm dealing with. And she said, Coco just drunk my coffee up. It wasn't hot. Our puppy. So anyway, so and I was thinking that maybe there's a thing that they used to do, and I don't know what they call it, but they would make up a story or something, and everybody believes the story. Like, like say for instance, okay, we had COVID-19. We couldn't really talk about COVID-19 or da 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 da. And then people were going around saying that they got it when they didn't have it, and a lot of people died or whatever. Okay, they never found a remedy for COVID-19. They don't have one, you guys. They don't have a remedy for just the average common cold. So they definitely don't have one for the flu or COVID-19. But it just amazes me how that, people are not dying from COVID-19, just falling over dead. I mean, it had everybody in their house. You couldn't go to the house. You couldn't go to the store. You couldn't go to work. Couldn't go to school, And a lot of things have shifted from 2020 and out into 2025. And so is all the stories that you hear about COVID-19 true? I don't believe so. I just don't. Now, I could be wrong, but I'm not talking about a particular person. Okay? So I will tell you guys this. See, because I don't want anyone to think I'm talking about them, because that's what you guys do. We'll come on here and we'll talk about situations. I'll talk about an intimate situation, but it doesn't have anything to do with anybody on this family. But somebody in here would be like, you're talking about me. No, I'm not. I'm not talking about you. I know that sometimes people do things like that because I have been done like that in a marriage with a pastor. And the only reason why I knew what they were saying was like, I didn't accuse them, but I knew that. I asked my ex-husband. I said, okay, listen to this. So my ex-husband and we were arguing, fighting about something. I'm not going to say what it is because it really doesn't matter what it is because I don't care, right? But I told him a lie. Like I literally told him a lie because I didn't want to tell him the truth. You know why I didn't want to tell him the truth? Because if I told him the truth, then the next time something happened, he'll get better at it where I can't catch him. So, like, say, for instance, he was cheating. And I said, okay, I know you're cheating. I caught you cheating, or I go up or whatever. Or I go up to his job when she's there and he's there and they're in the car together and I'm going, what are you doing? I've been seeing you cheat and all this other stuff. Okay. Now we're arguing, we're fighting. I'm like, leave, just get a divorce or whatever. And he's like, no. He was like, but we're going to work it out. We're going to work it out. I'm sorry. We didn't do anything. We were getting close and, blah, blah, blah. I want my family. I want to work hard. It'll never happen again. And all this other stuff. So, okay. So then he says, well, how did you know that I was cheating? How did you know I was cheating? And I don't want to answer that. I just don't want to answer it. And then finally he keeps asking me. And I said, you know why? Because I hired a private investigator. That's what I did. He go, oh, okay. So we go to church and the church pastor is preaching about a married people. And the pastor tells us, that once you get married, you're married to one another. You guys become one. You don't need nobody messing around in your marriage. And you women, he says, This is in front of the church. On Sunday morning. He says, you women, quit going out there paying a private investigator to check to see what your husband is doing. Of course, he's going to tell you something is wrong or your husband's doing something wrong because he wants to make money. So, this is true. Lisa said, oh, so now I'm a little bit upset. I'm a little bit upset, right? I'm telling y'all a true story here. So when we get home, I say, husband, why did you tell the pastor what we are going through? He said, I ain't told the pastor nothing. I said, yeah, you did. He said, no, I didn't. I said, yes, you did. And I know for a fact you did. See, because I know what I told you was a lie. I didn't hire no private investigator. Actually, I did my own investigation. I'm just being honest with you guys. Okay? So anyway, he says, I wouldn't lie about this, honey. I'm trying to make this work. Well, let's call the pastor and ask him. Okay, let's do that. And I'm thinking in my head, if this pastor say the Lord gave him this word, I'm done. You guys hear me? Because I know I set up surveillance myself. I'm not going to go pay somebody to go hunting down my husband and see what he's doing. Trust me, I know how to do it myself. But I didn't tell my husband that. I told him I hired somebody. Okay? So we called the pastor of the church. We called him up. And, I call him by name. I say, hey, Earl. That was his name, Pastor Earl. I say, and trust me, I really loved this church I had went to. I love going to this church. I loved it. Like, I wasn't missing no Sundays, I was doing extra work in the church. I was, I was giving my offerings and my tenth. Try to get all the way up to the, giving the money, a tenth. I wouldn't say a tenth because, I'm not going to lie to y'all and I ain't going to lie to nobody else, but I gave some good money. A tenth is a lot to me. If you guys know what I was making, you know what I'm saying? Like, some people be like, oh, if I have $1, I'll give 10 cents. Yeah, if you had $1. Okay, so when you have $100, you're going to give $10. So if you have $900, you're going to give $90 every payday. Okay, then if you have $2,000, you're going to give $200 every payday. That's a lot of money, right? But we're supposed to give a 10, right? Everybody say yes, because that's what we're supposed to give. I'm not sitting here telling you not supposed to do that. You are. I'm saying I wasn't doing that. I hadn't got to that point in my life. The Lord tells us, let me tell you guys something, and it's just going to be honest with you guys, okay? If you give the Lord a tenth of what you are supposed to give, and you don't have a willing heart to do it, you might as well just go throw it in the river. Go throw it in the trash. Because for you to give, you don't even have it in your heart to give. Not that it's going to the Lord or whatever. It may have to do with the person, or you seeing them what they doing with the money. They not, you know what I'm saying? We're talking real talk here. So if you're not comfortable, Okay, I was comfortable of giving what I gave. I'm not making up excuses because, I sit there and I be like, my kids going to public school. We getting secondhand clothes. We getting ramen noodles and rice and beans, and y'all going to the steakhouse, driving in Rolls Royces and going out of town, and your kids got college funds. And you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? And I get it. But then I know that when I don't have electric bill, I can't come to you. I know I can't. Because the first thing you're going to say is, have you been given a 10? And even though I haven't been given a 10, if I would have gave what I gave you in your electric bill and your kids got new shoes and driving in Rolls Royces and things, then I could have had that. So I'm just being honest with you guys. I'm not there like that when it comes to the 10. I'm like, what I give open-heartedly. Like, it don't have to be a 10th of what I make. It can be things I do. It could be, I paid for the trash for like 2-3 straight years for the church. I just, they didn't have a trash man to pick up the trash. We all would have to take the trash home with us. I said, I'm not doing that. I don't want to take trash home with me when I'm done doing something at the church. So you know what I did? I called the trash company, said, bring a dumpster and I will pay for it. And when I left the church, I kept paying for it for a whole 1 or 2 more years. I didn't just say, go take the trash dump. I continued paying for it until, guess what? My money ran out. And I'm pretty sure they thought, oh, she's not at the church. We're going to lose the trash dumpster. No. I just kept paying for it. I paid for it until I couldn't pay for it no more. That's my 10. But not only that, you guys, when I see people, homeless people, I give them money out of my pocket. I go buy them something to eat. Right now, we're trying to get a car ready for a homeless lady. She just got a home. We're trying to get the car ready for her right now. And not only give her the car, but get the tags and pay for insurance for 3 months. I already said that this is what I was going to do. So we're trying to do it. If it don't go to her, it's going to go to somebody down there in the homeless shelter. If she gets her stuff together before I can get it right, so be it. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying to you guys, when we call this pastor and ask this pastor, I said, Pastor, I want to ask you a question. And please, I said, my husband and I, not the husband I have right now, but my first husband, going through some problems and issues. And I asked him not to talk to no one about it. We was going to work it out ourselves. Now, he swore to me he ain't talked to nobody. He said he ain't even talked to you. But you was in church preaching about it Sunday morning. Did my husband talk to you about what we going through? And you know what this pastor said? You guys, put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. You know what? I don't have anything to lie about. Because it's embarrassing, right? But you know what? Somebody can learn from it. Exactly. That pastor said, no, I have not talked to your husband or anybody about anything that you and him is going through. I said to myself, I'm done. I said, that's all I needed to know. He said, it is so good to know when I get up there and preach that the Lord has gave me the word to preach about. Lisa said, no, ma'am. He said, God laid it on. You know what he said? That's what he said, Lisa. Before I can even get it out, you said it. The Lord gave him what he needed to preach about, and all of it came from the Lord. You know, I had to leave the church. Freddie said the devil is a lie because I know better. You know what I'm saying? Now, if I am wrong on what I thought about this man, you know, I didn't go in his face and say, "You lying, you lying." I wouldn't do that. But my really true feeling about the whole situation is, you a minister, you a preacher, and you're lying to me. I know for a fact the Lord would not have told you that. If he would have told you that, he would have not told you that I hired a private investigator. He would have told you to tell the people of the church, the people in the pews, your community, your love God and people, that, okay, you guys are married and you need to trust each other. And if you don't trust each other, y'all need to go in the bedroom, shut the door, and don't come out until you work it out. That's what he would have told you. But you got up there talking about y'all women is hiring private investigators and said that the Lord gave you that word. I'm done. But you guys, I didn't tell him that, because even though deep down in my heart, I believe he lying, I have respect that I have no evidence, but I don't want to hear nothing else you have to say. Because if you lie to your sheep and you are the pastor, what else would you lie about? What else would you lie about? Like, I'm giving, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I never felt comfortable about, oh, shoot, I made $3,000 this week, I'm going to give him 300. No, I might give you, 20, 30, or 50, but I'm not going to give you 300. I can't do that. Yes, tithes is more than monetary. If your heart and motive isn't right when giving it, doesn't mean good to God. Exactly. You're right. It doesn't. And I tell people this all the time. I spoke to the Lord about this many a times. I said, Lord, I know money ain't nothing but a tool. But people down here is in the pulpit lying. And, like they know better than me. Why would I trust them with something that they're trying to tell me is for the Lord? I believe the Lord that I serve, he going to take care of it no matter if I give it or not. He ain't waiting on me. He not. If the Lord wanted you to have it, he would have gave it to you. I feel like if I believe and trust in you to do the right thing, I wouldn't have a problem giving it. But I know for a fact, if I called that pastor up when I was going to that church and say, hey, they just cut off my electric, they're not going to pay my bill. And I know that. I'm just telling the truth, you guys. And the Lord tells us to do not throw our pearls among swine. If you know that, why would you give it to them? Because you in a building? You know what I'm saying? So you got to do right with what God gives us. You know what I'm saying? Zena says you have to ask God to place you where you belong. Exactly. Freddie says the pastor may have been a scandalous adulteress himself. Okay. You got it right on the button. You guys understand what I just said. But even though I went through that, I did not go to that pastor and say, I know you're lying. I know you're lying. And here's the other thing, you guys. And I don't know if you guys know this, but it's easy to do. It only costs like $20-$30. This was back in the day, but they got a little bit more sophisticated equipment now. It don't take a lot, but this is when we have landlines. But I had my phones tapped. So I knew every conversation that went on in my house. Hello? You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be like, what's that guy that make all of them shows? All them, Tyler Perry. Hello? I heard the conversation, so I know. I still wouldn't go in his face and be like, you lying. Da 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 da. One of these days, you guys, I'll go in my safe and I still have the tapes. And I'll play them for you. See, we didn't have these cell phones where you can just push a button and record everything that everybody say. But they did have equipment that you can easily hook up in your house and it will record every conversation. Every conversation. And the funny thing about it is, my ex-husband's mother is the one that taught me how to do that. She sure did. She sure did. We was best friends. Anyway, so I'll be very careful about accusing someone. That's almost like on the Naziah Harris case. I didn't want to say nothing negative about the sister because she could be involved and she don't have to be involved. I don't know. But did she know something? I believe she knew something. But to know that she knew what he was doing to the kids or the little girls, I don't know if she knew. I don't know. It's just really weird to me that nobody knew that this boy had a thing for these little girls. And they just picking up kids and dropping them off to him. And the kids is talking about they touched this and they touched that and they called the social services and the police came to the house and the teacher called and caught the kid and the man at the school and all this other stuff. And she's using Amy's phone and leaving crypto messages and stuff. Nobody knows. Come on. I don't believe that. Now, I'm not saying, but there's more people in a Naziah case like King. Y'all know, because here's the thing. Why is little girls, I don't care if they're your daddy, at a oil and auto shop around where nothing but grown men be at. Y'all dropping them off and letting them pick other people's kids up and they done already said something happened at the birthday party. And y'all just letting this man just pick up the kids anyway. Please. Even if I didn't say anything, I will still do something to make sure it's not happening. You know what I'm saying, you guys? You understand what I'm saying? Like, if I'm not for sure, like if somebody said, hey, your husband touched my child. If they said that to me, I would put my husband in a position where he's not around that kid anymore. You guys understand what I'm saying? Like, if the kid was coming to my house, I would say, okay, your kid can come back over to my house because we don't need the problems. Keep your kid at home, and I keep my husband at home. You know what I'm saying? Or, like, why is your kid coming over to my house when I'm not here? Tell them, you know what I'm saying? You have to separate the cause from to make a solution. Even if you don't know, you know what I'm saying? Even if you don't know, your mind tells you to, if you can't differentiate if it's something right or wrong, true or false, you still have to be in a protective mode. You're a parent, you're a mother. It comes naturally, not to everybody, but to women, it's supposed to come naturally to be like, okay, I don't know who to believe, but you cannot pick up the kids anymore, taking them to go get ice cream and snacks. You cannot come in the house anymore. When you come to pick up your kid, stay in your vehicle. And then and you got to think about this, you guys. And this is just talking about Nazia's case. All of those kids, she got 5 kids. All of them's gonna have to go through some therapy. All those kids gonna have to go through therapy. Even the adults around this situation, to be honest with you, have to go through therapy, because if they did not recognize all of these signs, then what is in their past that they couldn't see this? Because even Stevie Wonder could see this. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to be honest with you guys. You don't have to be a psychic to know that the grandmother knew, and Shannon knew, and Marquita knew. Now, I can't say for sure if the auntie of Jarvis's sister knowing, but trust and believe, Grandma knew, and Shannon knew. Now, you can go tell that lie to somebody else, and they sit back and play with you like, yeah, we gonna believe what you say. No. Like I said, when somebody accused me of something, then guess what? I believe what you said about me. That's what you thought about me, whether it's true or not. But if you said something that wasn't true about me, then I'm done. Because if I said it, I said it. I'll be a grown woman. I don't have to hide behind my words. If I said it, I'll say it again. If that's what I meant, I will tell you that is exactly what I meant. If I said to Zena, oh, you're a scaredy cat. If I said it, that's what I meant. You are a scaredy cat. You hide, whatever. You do this. I'm just using you as an example. Not for real, Zena, but I'm just saying, But if you told me I was talking about you, I don't even have to say I wasn't, because you said that I was. That's what you believe I think of you. No, that's not what I think of you, but I now know what you think of me. Because trust and believe, I ain't scared to ever say it again or say what I meant. Because like when people do stuff or whatever, you be like, no, I didn't say that. I didn't mean that. Well, I'm not going to try to convince you. Convince you for what? You believe that's what I meant. So If you thought that, why would you even be friends with me? If you thought that of me, why would you? That doesn't even make sense. Think about it. I wouldn't be friends with you. Now, I don't want to be friends with you or family with you because that's the way you think about me. That's how you should be at the get-go. Because when you got friends like that, you don't need enemies. But if you think so that you're right, then be right. You don't want to lose. Because I'm never going to defend who I am. I am that I am. Should have just asked. And I could have just told you. I don't have to lie. I was in this situation at this job and I had did something that I wasn't supposed to do. Got caught up in the middle of it just because I didn't want to do it. I don't know why I didn't want to do it, but I didn't do it. Now, instead of going to my boss and going, go tell her a lie or whatever, I just told her, But anyway, we all make mistakes. If I don't want to explain it to you, I won't. You know why? It's not worth it. Not because I'm guilty, because it's not worth it. Because to tell you the truth, you don't want to hear. I've learned, you can keep things around sometimes telling a lie. But I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think I have one person in my life that I have to lie to. Not even my husband. Matter of fact, I held a secret from my husband for like the first 6-7 years of our marriage. No, I didn't want to lie about it. So anytime he asked me about it, I told him it's none of his business. I want to talk about it. Ain't got nothing to do with him. And it didn't. And it don't. And it still don't. You know what I'm saying? But to lie? Nah. No. I will lie to not hurt your feelings. That's on me. And that's bad. But I get in trouble for telling the truth. My girlfriend told me that one time, and she said, I don't get in trouble for lying. I get in trouble more because I just tell it like it is. I tell the truth, and it hurts people's feelings. It does. But one thing about it is, sometimes, when you, especially when you're friends, and I'm just going to say this. I'm talking to Freddie. We're friends. You don't want to tell me? Just don't tell me. That's it. Say, I don't want to. You know what I say? I say, I don't even want to talk about it. Ain't that what I do, Freddie? I said, girl, it ain't even worth it. Let's not even talk about it. And that's because if I want to tell her something, or I don't want to tell her the whole story, I don't have to lie to her. I just be like, Freddie, let's talk about something else. Like, I don't even want to talk about it. Leave it alone. Like, let's get off of it or whatever, Yeah, shoot. Anyway, you guys, I was sharing a conversation with a guy. And, something was very profound about what he said after I shared the story with him. I was talking to this African guy at work. His name is Moody. And I was telling him about how I had a dream and how I had I pray and I talk to God, and I had asked God, was it okay? Like, I like to play the lottery, I like to play the Powerball, the Mega Million, and the raffle and stuff. But some people was like, "Oh, girl, you're Christian. Why you doing that? You're a Christian. You married to a minister, and you doing this, doing that." People look down on it. So I was telling Moody about it, and Moody, he does not work on Fridays. Half of from Friday 5 p.m. he cannot work all the way to Saturday. I think it's like 6 or 5 p.m. Saturday. Because he's a Christian, and they say that Jesus died on the Friday, and he was in the tomb or something, and all of that other stuff. I don't know what they believe. I've never really asked him what his religious belief is. I just know he told me Fridays at 5 they don't work. They gather everything that they need for the Friday evening to all the way to Saturday evening, and that's why they were having me working on Fridays. So we were talking a little bit about that, and I told him, I said, and I pray to God, and because people were like, "Oh, you want to win this Powerball, such. I need you guys' advice about this. So listen really good. Zena says, I always knew when my niece wasn't telling me the whole story about something. Exactly. Or you say, I'm not going to worry about it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Freddie, like, don't worry about it. What Freddie say? Yes. Anyway, so I was telling him that, I would like to win the lottery. And I felt like one of these days I will win the lottery. I even asked the Lord, am I going to win a lottery? And all this other stuff. But he hasn't gave me this sense that, oh, you can't play the lottery. You can't play the Powerball. You can't do that. He's never gave me that. And so Moody was like, that's because you want to do it. I was like, no, there's some things in life that I be wanting to do, and I have a conscience, and the Lord say, don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, say, for instance, you see $10 on the floor, and people walking around, you want to put your foot on it, but some tell you to don't do that. You know good and well that's not yours, right? You got that conscience. And you don't even walk over there and be, you before you even make a move, you've done already thought about, this is not right. I don't feel like when I buy a lottery ticket, it's not right. I don't feel that. So then I went and I prayed to the Lord about it. And I said, Lord, if I'm doing something that offends you, I just really want to know this. I want to know if there's something I'm doing, like if I'm playing a lottery. Like, here's the thing. There's people that goes to the movies every weekend. There's people that get their hair done every weekend. They get their nails done every weekend. They go to the party. They go drinking every weekend or whatever. But this is something I like to do. Peace of mind. I go get me a lottery ticket. If I win, I win. If I don't, I don't. They build hospitals, the roads, and schools, and everything. It's like, it's no big deal. They pick some of the disciples because, throwing stones and stuff like that. So everything, and I'm just telling you guys how this whole conversation with the Lord went. Everything, all the decisions is by the Lord. So if you win, you're supposed to. If you don't, you ain't. You just not. That's the way it is or whatever. So anyway, and I'm like, well, Lord, I'm just going to ask you if it's going to be something that takes me away from you. I don't want it. But tell me who in their right mind don't want to win. Everybody would love to want to win the lottery. People don't even play want to win. Now, how crazy is that? My husband will not buy a lottery ticket for nothing. But he be wishing he can win that lottery. He'd be like, ooh, that's a whole bunch of money. I wonder what I would do if I had that kind of money. If I won it. I said, you'll never win that kind of money because you don't play. You know the slogan for The lottery was, you can't win if you don't play. That's the truth. You think, oh, it's got to be some kind of osmosis come from the sky, and the lottery ticket's got to be flying down the street, and you have to be there at that exact moment and pick it up, and that's the ticket that's going to win. But you didn't go buy this ticket. It just flew in your hand. I'm not saying that couldn't happen. I found tickets before and won on tickets that I found. I'm just saying, though, when you think your chances, your more chances is to just go buy you work for this money. Isn't it okay to do what you need to do? You're not harming nobody. You're paying your bills. Your kids are taken care of, and you help people all the time. You donate money, give money away, go buy presents and gifts and everything that you can do to help people. Like, if just to pass some time. I just don't believe the Lord wants us to be down here just sitting here. Matter of fact, he tells us that no, he just do. This is why I tell people all the time, like, what I get out of the Bible may be totally different from what you get out of the Bible, but I don't get that. So I had this whole conversation with the Lord, and I said, Lord, if this is going to take me away from you, then even take my mind off of it where I can't even play or whatever. Or nevertheless, like, just take it away. But if you say it's okay, it is, I can win, or there's a possibility I can win, just give me a sign. Because in any time that you pray to the Lord, you can ask for a sign to know, not speak it out in the world so the world can hear it and the devil and the demon can hear it. But what you pray to in your mind with the Lord, nobody knows what you pray for. They don't know. They may have some kind of indication by your movements, like you're going to go buy lottery tickets, or, oh, you want this boyfriend, so you get dressed every time when you see him at the store, or whatever. She said, I bet the church won't say I can't take that money because you were gambling. Let me tell you something. The pastor church that we were going to, he teaches us. I think he teaches and preaches on not playing the lottery. But he says, if you win the lottery, just make sure the church get their 10%. That's what he says. Because that's a lot of money. It can do a lot it's a tool. But anyway, y'all, back to the story. So nevertheless, so I went to sleep, but I prayed this prayer to the Lord. This is true. I prayed this prayer to the Lord, and I said, just give me a sign. I said, I don't even want to win. Just give me a sign that it's not offending you for me to play. Like, I mean, I would like to win, but if just give me a sign. When I went to sleep, I dreamed of 4 numbers. I can't tell you what the 4 numbers is right now, but let's just say it was 2. Let's say it was 2, 17, 26, 33, 34, and the Powerball is 8. As a matter of fact, I'm going to play that. I just thought of some stuff, but I'm going to play it. I said 2, 17, 26, 33, 34, and the Powerball 8. So anyway, I went to sleep. I dreamed the numbers 2, 17, 26, 33. That's the only 4 numbers I dreamed. I didn't dream no other numbers, but I dreamed those numbers, right? And so I was talking to my mom about it, and I said, hey, Mom, I dreamed of the Powerball, and I dreamed these numbers, but I only dreamed 4 numbers. You got to have 6, but I only dreamed 4. Are you guys listening? Put a 1 in the box if you guys are listening, because this is where I need you to tell me of my interpretation of what I'm saying. Okay? Lisa Taylor says she listening. Thank you, Lisa. Okay, so I dream of those four numbers. So this is the very first time, because I don't even watch TV to know that at 10 o'clock they do the Powerball numbers and you can see it live and all this other stuff. But my mother and I was watching the TV, and she said the Powerball numbers, they finna do the Powerball numbers. I said, okay. So I don't even have these tickets in front of me. They're out in the car. They come on TV and they say, okay, we got the numbers. We got the number. The first number is 33. The second number is 17. The third number is 26. The fourth number is 2. The fifth number is 7. No, it was 10. And the Powerball number is 7. Okay. So how many numbers did I pick out of all the numbers, you guys? I still only picked 4 numbers. The 4 numbers that I seen. So I picked all other numbers with this. I picked it about 20 times. I picked 2, 17, 26, 33, 34, 2 and 1. 2, 17, 26, 33, 34, 5 and 18. 2, 17, 26, 33, 34, 3, 9. I was just picking 2 extra numbers. So I'm listening to the numbers and I'm like, Mama, I got a lot of those numbers. She said, you do? I said, yeah, I got a lot of those numbers. She said, no, you don't. So I run to the car while I got her on the phone. I run to the car. I come back in the house and I say, I got 2, 17, 26, 33, 34. Okay, what's the last 2 numbers? Do you guys know the last 2 numbers is 7, 10? Now, why is this so significant? Because 7, 10, 10 was a Powerball. 7, 10 is my birthday. Did you guys hear me? This is a true story. So on those 4 numbers, I ended up with $100 on each one of those tickets, which was good, but that's it. If I would have got one more number, yeah, I would have had some thousands, but I didn't. How in the world did I get 4 numbers and the only 2 numbers I didn't pick was my freaking birthday, 7/10? Now, the question to you guys is, I thinking to myself, okay, I didn't tell the Lord, let me win, let me win. I told him to show me a sign. Do you guys think that's a sign that I can continue to do the Powerball, play the Powerball, and just let it just go? Because when I told Moody this story, Moody says, no, that's not giving you a sign that you can play the Powerball. That's giving you the sign that he not going to allow you to win. And I'm saying to Moody, what the heck are you talking about? Why would you even think that? I'm not thinking that at all. Like, that doesn't even make sense to me. Okay, you guys tell me what you guys think. I don't know. You tell me. Is it a sign that, yeah, I can play and it's no big deal and I might win one day? Or is it a sign that's saying, no, look, you're not going to win? Because he couldn't even explain to me why. He said, the Lord is not telling you. He's saying the Lord is telling you. He said, because you want to play, so you're going to play. And that's what the Lord is telling you. But the Lord is saying you can play all you want, but you're not going to win. I'm not understanding why he say that. Now, here's the thing. I'm not sitting there going, hey, that ain't what it is. I don't do and arguing with him. I'm just thinking to myself, that doesn't even make sense. Do it make sense to you guys? Like, if that happened to you, would you still continue to play? Or would you think the Lord is telling you no? Because I don't know why he got I don't know why he got the idea that if I dreamed these 4 numbers and they all came out, and the only 2 numbers that I didn't pick on the thing was my freaking birthday. Freddie said, keep on, keeping on. That's what I said. But this man was sitting there telling me, no, the Lord is telling you, no, you're not, you don't keep playing. He said, that's what you want to do. That's weird because the Lord don't have to do that. I could have picked, 6 numbers and none of them came out. That would have been more than me being like, well, dang, I guess, But what if I dreamed 4 numbers and it was 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 7 and 8, and none of them came out. 33, 34, 36, 37, 38, 39 came out. I would be like, well, dang, I'm way off, Freddie says, someone that doesn't want you to win. If the Bible says no gambling, then no, he's not telling you to play. Zena says, my opinion. Zena says, if the Bible says no gambling, then no, he's not telling you to play. He's not telling me to play. He's not telling me not to play. What do you mean? So see, Zena says, in my opinion, no, he's not telling you to play. I don't understand that. Why do you think, where does it says there's no gambling in the Bible? I just want to know. Because I've never read it before. Let's Google it. I just want it. Where in the Bible it says no gambling? Oh, Lord. It says the Bible does not explicitly forbid gambling, but warns against behaviors and motivations that are often associated with it, such as the love of money, greed, and get-rich-quick schemes, as seen in passages like 1 Timothy 12, 1 Timothy 6:10, and Proverbs 13:11. It says key principles that apply to gambling includes avoiding the pursuit of wealth at the expense of others, being a wise steward of finance resources, and not allowing a desire for money to become an idol. See, and here's the thing. If money was like an idol, see, for some people, it would be a problem, I would think. Because, and I'm just saying, because of the first thing, like the love of money. Money is just a tool, you guys. I've done had big cars, expensive cars. I've done basically gave them away. Okay. Rode in them, had fun, and gave them away. Greed, like I know where the greed comes from. That, it'll get you to start stealing when you ain't got money. You will steal money. But if you got enough money, then, just use what you got. Get rich quick schemes. Key principles that apply to gambling includes the love of money. So accordingly to 1 Timothy 6:9 and 10, Christians are called to be wise stewards over their finances. What is wrong with being, she says, but I don't know, I would need more clarity from God. Okay, so it's saying be a wise stewardess. That's what it says. I'm not telling nobody to go out there, go gamble or whatever, if that's what you want to call it. But here's the thing. Okay? I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to say this. You know, as women, we like to go get our nails done, painting our nails, putting lipstick on, eyeshadow, all this war paint. My stepfather would call it war paint. Putting earrings in your ears, putting holes in your ears, putting holes in your nose, putting holes around your lip, in your eyeball, and all this other stuff. And you wear it all day, every day. You wear it all, got your nails painted. Paint it now. Come on. Keep telling me about what, because you take your money and you spend it on getting some fake nails. I don't need fake nails. My nails grow so fast, it ain't even funny. I have to cut them, and I try to keep them cut because I got them long nail beds that even when my nails are cut, they look like I got tips on. I got French tips. Lisa Calhoun said that's not in the Bible too. What? What I'm saying though, see, this is what I'm saying. And some of you guys can get mad, but it's going to be reality to you. Let's get for real here. Technically, here's the thing. Now listen close. Because I do not want nobody to quote me different. Here's the thing. When you have a relationship with the Lord, you guys have a relationship. What is for you is for you. Okay? He may tell you that you don't need this or can't have that. Okay? And that's fine. We're saying the Bible is instructions for you to what? See, you got to know what the Bible is for. Okay? You can't pull up one scripture like everybody does. And this is why people don't like Bible thumpers, Christians now. Because we'll pull up one scripture and say, this is what this means. This is what this means. And if you have a relationship with the Lord, you have already asked him and he has given you the answer. I wasn't asking Moody. I asked him what he thought. You know, I don't even think I even asked him what he thought. I told him the situation and I said, I believe that was okay. As long as I'm not taking my house payment money and, I'm not starving myself and my lights are cut off and I ain't feeding my kids. It's just like going to go get your nails done. That's something you like to do. Only thing about getting your nails done, some people will say, oh, your nails look pretty. I just got this little card that's got some 6 numbers on it. And guess what? If I win, I win. And if I don't, I don't. But it's something I like to do. And I don't sit there and get mad when I don't win. Because the odds is always really they say it's real horrible. It's like getting struck by lightning. But we do know people do get struck by lightning, don't we? And how many times you done came close to getting struck by lightning? And I said, hey, just let me get close. Just let me get close. Basic instructions. Exactly. That's what the Bible is for. The Bible. The Bible. She said the Bible. Basic instructions before leaving Earth. That's what they are. But when you have a relationship, Lisa Calhoun says, SP, I'm agreeing with you. I got you. I know. I got you. And Freddie said, don't we gamble on relationship? I'm not. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Now, listen to me. Listen to me close. Now, if you feel convicted when you go buy a lottery ticket, then that's on you. Maybe you can't do what everybody else do. Did you ask? Did you ask, was it okay? You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe you can't. You know, some people, they can take a drink and some people can't. I got a friend in Kansas City. I kid you guys not. You give him a wine cooler and he's drunker than a skunk. He falling all over and peeing on himself. And he's a man. And he's a strong man too. And I'll be like, boy, I'll be like playing like you just playing. Surely you ain't drunk after a wine cooler. And he's drunk. He drunk. He laying down, passing out, going to sleep in his clothes, trying to eat. You know, some people can handle it and some people can't. But I'm telling you, you know, like, I just believe, and I just tell everybody, I believe that if he don't want you to, then guess what? He's not going to sit there and pull it from you and be like, no, you can't do this, you can't do that. But, you know, if you can't control it, anything, if anything, you can do anything in moderation. You know what I'm saying? If you got an extra $10 and you want to take two and go spend it on the lottery, I don't think God is sitting there going, oh boy, yeah, I'm going to send you to hell because you went and bought a lottery ticket. You had hopes and dreams, which I want you to have hopes and dreams, but not on that. Why not? Like, one thing about Christianity that I find to be a problem in the Black communities, I just do, is when they do start talking about money, it's almost like we got to be broke and poor and without anything just to be in God's good graces. You know, like having a nice car is a bad thing, but that's what we go to work for, so we can have the things we want. You know, is it illegal? No. Do you guys know, back in the day, the liquor store was not open on Saturdays and Sundays? Was not. And you know what I thought when I was a kid? They wasn't open on Saturdays and Sunday because the Lord I serve don't want nobody drinking on Saturday and Sunday. Shoot, got a little bit older, lived a little bit longer. Now they open on Saturdays and Sundays. Guess why? Because the government said, you know what? These people is going to drive and they're going to drink on the weekends. When they off work, they're going to drink. We're losing a lot of money. So we're going to open up on Saturdays, and now we're going to open up on Sundays. Yep. Now, here's the thing. Was they really leaving the stores shut because it was the Sabbath and all of that? Because nothing's changed. Nothing has changed. Only thing that's done changed now, shut down some of these little side gambling shacks if you can't get some booze. I can't remember what they call it, but when you buy liquor from the bootleg house, you ain't got bootleg houses now. Now, only time somebody can make money is after 11 o'clock. Now, you can still make money on Saturday, Sunday, but they're not going to come to you on Saturday and Sunday unless they don't want to drive. But guess what? On Saturdays and Sundays, that liquor store is open now. Now, Saturday, it stays open all the way till 11 o'clock, and Sunday, I think they might close a little early. Because They want to make that money that they were losing. Because other people was like, oh, I'll just open up me a bootleg and I'll just go buy, 12, 12 cases of Coke 45 and some Bull and Budweiser and Coors, and people just come knocking on the door. Oh, I want to buy a 6-pack of Coke 45. I want to buy a 6-pack of Bud Light, whatever. And they be like, knowing it only costs $3, $10. Shoot, you making triple the money. She said people had shot houses during then. Yeah. Well, they still do it, but you don't hear about them a lot because guess what? The liquor stores are open now on Saturdays and Sunday, but they still do it like after 11 o'clock. You'd be like, dang, we should have had some liquor. And look, somebody know that somebody got some liquor after 11 o'clock. But you're gonna pay a little bit of money to get it after 11. Some people be like, well, is that a sin? Because you went and bought, the first time, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, okay? Like every now and then I'll get me a wine cooler. That's the only thing I really do like, to be honest with you. Like, I done drunk some Hennessy, I done drunk some E&J before, some gin, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I really don't like that stuff. I mean, like, I've never, no, I just don't like it. Like, I haven't drunk no hard liquor in at least about 10 years. You know what I mean? Like, no. But anyway, you guys, I'll take a wine cooler. My husband may bring me a wine cooler here and there. She said bootleg juke joints and holes in the walls. Freddie know them all, don't you? That's what they are. You go in there and get your little liquor and stuff, and you be like, and it be cold too. It be cold, and you just see. I don't drink beer at all. I don't want to drink beer. She said liquor store opens at 2 p.m. on Sundays. Oh, really? See, I didn't even know. I know one day I went in there. It's probably been maybe about 4 or 5 years ago. I went in on a Sunday and it felt weird. Now, they had been opening up the liquor store on Sundays since I don't know when, probably about some years ago. But I don't know. But I went in there on a Sunday and it felt so weird. I was like, dang, this is crazy. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, when we were younger, it was almost like a sin to be, liquor store couldn't be open on Saturdays and Sunday. They just couldn't. The government said no, and that's what it was. No means no. You get your liquor Monday through Friday, and that's it. But now it's 7 days a week. And they be having it going on. And you go there, especially when they're getting ready to close, and that store parking lot be packed. People running in and going out and got the kids sitting in the car and all this. I'll be like, dang, this is crazy. This is cray-cray. But so what I'm saying to you guys is, make a long story, we're done with it. But what I'm saying is, like, certain people have a different sin. It can be the one story, and you can ask them, like, what do you think? You think this and think that? Some say, yeah, I would still play. Some say no, like, if you were taught that it's just that bad, then no, I'm just saying for me, like, if I was taught it was bad, which I wasn't taught it was bad, to be honest with you. I just don't see it as a bad thing. But I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying I just don't see it as a bad thing. I just don't. And I just don't see in the Bible where it says that either. I just don't. So, People, I had this one boyfriend. He lived in Texas, and he would come down on the weekends or something. And he was wanting to come down on the weekends. And I told him, I got to work this weekend. He said, I thought you was a Christian. I said, no, what made you think I'm not? Uh, I said, what? Yeah, I gotta work, I gotta work Saturday and Sunday. I gotta work. And they make it mandatory. When I was at Boeing, they make it mandatory. And if I don't do it, I lose my job. You know what I'm saying? It's mandatory. And he said, well, you ain't got to work Sunday. He said, you ain't got to work Sunday. And I said, why is that? He said, because that's the Sabbath. I had told him, I said, boy, do you even know what you're talking about? Do you not know that the Sabbath is Saturday? He said, no, it isn't. Okay, don't ask me about what am I doing Sunday, because the Lord that I serve, if my job tells me it's mandatory, it's mandatory. The Lord, you think the Lord is not going to understand in order for me to keep my job, to feed my kids, I have to go to work? You think he's not going to understand that? And so, Christians, they take things like, I just don't think he wants us to live down here on this earth like, we looking, our face all sunken in, our eyes all blacking out, we won't clean ourselves up, won't go get no nail polish, get our hair done. We not smelling, we all looking all sad. But we want to tell people, come and join the church and praise the Lord and but we're still like we look like we need to go get a job or something. We don't even, like I don't know. I just don't think that he wanted, because that would be like living in hell, really, like here now. Like we gonna live in hell on earth and go to hell too. Come on now. I just don't believe that. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to understand the Lord. You really, when I tell you to understand, like you got to have that conversation, like just like with your kids. The only way you guys going to have a relationship is you got to have that conversation. And the conversation I have with my husband is not the same conversation that you have with your husband. It's not. Even though that's a husband, but that's your husband. So when you have a relationship with God, he'll tell you what he needs you to do or not do. He will tell you. If he told me one time to don't go home, he would tell me, no, do not buy no more lottery tickets. Just don't do it. And you know what? I'd be like, I'm done. Everybody be like, I'll be like, dang, I did like to play or whatever. But if he told me no, I'm going to tell you it'd be hard, but I wouldn't do it. That'd just be the bottom line. But like I tell you, you guys, I'm going to tell you something. I walk in the house and my dog done jumped on the couch, done took one of the pillows, and it's all over the floor. And I walk in the house and I look at him. I say, Diesel. He gets up and he takes off running. Because guess what? He knows he has done wrong. Okay? You ain't got to ask. You'll know. Even a dog knows when he's done something wrong. You know what I'm saying? And he'll take off running, go hide underneath the bed. Tell me why, as humans, that you guys don't know. You say what's wrong ain't wrong. What's right is wrong. You make excuses to do wrong, and the things you can do, you can't do because you're trying to be righteous. It just doesn't make sense to me. Tina says, I'm still here. All right. And Lisa Calhoun says, we drink wine because it's not good to drink water all the time to help your stomach. Okay. Lisa says, yes, with anything that we do, if we make it a God to us, then we are sinning. Exactly. You know, exactly. That's what it means. You can't just, oh, I'm gonna just go buy all the liquor in the world, drink. Now, guess what? Now you ain't got no home to live in. Now you got a drinking problem. Now you got to go to AA. Now you drink and drive, you might kill somebody. You're doing too much. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying go play with something you can't play with. If you ain't got the money to play with it, then don't play with it. Don't go spend all your money and then say, oh, let me see what the Lord gonna give me. I'm gonna sit in the house and let him just rain money on me when he done gave you $50 to go pay the electric bill and you didn't do it. That's foolishness right there. Even if you went and got your nails done, that's foolishness. Because why would you not pay for electric knowing you need electric so you can have some hot water, so you can have electric, so you can cook or whatever to see at night, you know? But you done went and bought some liquor or play some or gamble. That's crazy. But like I said, you know, it's crazy. I just wanted to know what you guys think about that. And it wasn't really a trick question. It was to show you that, you know, like other people' way of thinking can be the way that they were taught, you know, their environment. And so, like I said, my environment, I just don't see nothing wrong with it. But I could be wrong, you guys. I could be wrong. I don't believe I'm wrong. And, you know, and until he gives me better understanding, you know, I have to do what I believe. You know what I'm saying? Like if I stop doing what I believe just because you said something, you can say it, but that doesn't mean I believe it, you know? Like somebody put a scripture in there and like I'll look for that scripture. I think it said Judges something. Let me go up a little bit so I can see. Zena says Judges 14:32. Let me see what it says. Judges 14:12. Is that says Judges 14:12. Describe the moment Samson proposed a riddle to thirsty Palestine men at his wedding fest, promising them 30 linen garments and 30 changes of clothes if they can solve it when the seventh day celebration. The challenge was that if they failed, they would owe him the same garment. The riddle Salmon posed was out of the eater came food, out of the strong came something sweet. Samson was hosting a week-long feast in the Palestine town for his marriage to the Palestine woman. 30 young men from the town were assigned to the Samson's companion during the fast. The wages was that if the Palestine man could solve Samson's riddle within 7 days, he would give them the promised clothing. The men couldn't solve the riddle for 3 days. They pressured Samson's bride, threatened to burn her father's house if she didn't get the answer from Samson. Samson eventually, hold on. Hello? I don't know why my she said 1412. Yeah, I don't know. They were just saying that trying to get my grandson dropped off, like pick up from school and stuff, which is good. Cause I get up and I go pick him up, but he can catch the bus home. So Lisa Calhoun says, thanks, SP. Bible study was canceled tonight, but God and you made sure I got a lesson. Laughing out loud. Well, you're welcome. Like I just be wanting to know, like, if anybody would have scriptures on the things that every day that what we go through, you know, because we call ourselves Christians. To be honest with you, this was what I was going to say, and I'm glad the Lord gave it back to me again. But I don't know how you're going to have a relationship with the Lord if you don't come in conversation with him. You know what I'm saying? Like, people always like, I'm a Christian. Yeah, I believe in the Lord. Okay, when was the last time that you got on your knees and just talked to the Lord and just prayed and just talked? Or y'all just had a conversation? When was the last time that you had a conversation with the Lord? Be honest. You can't even remember. You can't remember when you said, Lord, what are we going to do now? Lord, these kids are mine. You gave me. They doing this and they doing that. What do you think about the world that's going on? Lord, did I pick the right husband? Lord, why I didn't win the Powerball? Lord, is it going to rain tomorrow? Lord, would you like it if I wore, I don't know, you know? And then not only that, ask him a question or something, and then pick up the Bible and go through the Bible, go through a scripture or two to just see what it says or whatever. When was the last time? It'd be like, you know what? To be honest with you, a lot of people be like, I don't know. It's been a while. To be honest with you, I don't know. It's been a while. That's what you will say. Let's be honest. Just be honest. That's what you would say. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Anyway, when we sit back and we lie and say that we be having this full conversation, we be having, like, I I have a relationship with the Lord. How in the world you going to have a relationship with the Lord and you don't even talk about the Lord? Like we always talk about things we love. I tell y'all about my husband. I tell y'all about my kids. I tell you about Diesel. I tell you about my job. I tell y'all about these things. I talk about the Lord because these are the things I love. These are the things I love. You know? And 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 even though that God is God, we don't have to go to nobody to get permission or to tell them what we need God to hear or whatever. We can go right to him ourselves. And whether it was a Lisa Calhoun said this morning she was like, Lord, what are we gonna do? These bills keep coming. And I know they're gonna keep coming. I know you're gonna help me find a way, Lord. I mean, no, like this. Like this. Zena said today, like this, you go, Lord, how is your day today? Did you have a good day? Because when it be storming and that thunder be, I be like, God is not happy. That I tell my husband that. He just looks at me. He said, that's what my mama would always say. That thunder like boom, 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 boom. We'd be like, yeah, kids, y'all go sit down somewhere. The Lord is talking. He is not happy. No, he's not. Or did we sit down and we prayed to the Lord to have a good day? Lord, I just pray. You know what? It's always about me. I want to know, did you bless my kids? Thank you for the food. Thank you for the food. I always say thank you for the food. Thank you for the food. Now let us eat. I always say thank you for taking care of my kids, making sure they make it home. They went this way. They did that. They did this. The baby came out normal. Thank you, Lord. My husband came home. Thank you, Lord. My kids went and got some help. Thank you, Lord. My job's doing great. Thank you, Lord. Lord, how was your day? Well, I'm going to pray for you, Lord. I'm going to pray for you in Jesus' name. I'm going to pray for you that you have a good day. We don't do that. We don't do stuff like that because it's always me, 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 me. Laughing out loud, Lisa Calhoun, our Bible study was canceled yesterday. Belief is good. Fearing the Lord is much better. Every night I get on my knees praying. I talk to him all the time. Yeah. But like we talk to our kids all the time. But like when we talk to our kids, it ain't that we just sit there and we just talk to the kids and the kids just, they don't say nothing, right? No, the kids say something. They talk to you back, right? So when we start getting in a place where we're focused on God, I'm just telling you guys. So I try to tell people like the things I've done where I've gotten some, I don't know if it'll work for you, but I've got results. Like when I say results, like I've got an answer. So when somebody try to tell me, oh girl, they walk in the store and they see me with a lottery ticket or whatever. So why would I sit there and hide it? Or they see me with a Miller's Light, even though I don't do that, but nevertheless, if they do, I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, there's Minister Deacon John Jones or whatever. I don't, I'm doing what I'm doing. Like the Lord sees it all. I'm not going to worry about what you guys think about me. I'm just not going to do it. Whatever you think about me, you're probably right in your mind. You'll be right in your mind. But for me, no. So if you thought that of me, that's not me. I'm sorry. You got me mixed up with somebody else. That wasn't me. I don't know what you thought, but it wasn't me. But it's okay. You can have your thoughts. You can have your thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Like we gotta just always, it's not gonna be easy, but when you know like how people think of you or whatever, there's no argument. Because if that's what they think of you, they may have their reason why they think that of you. They could be right, they could be wrong, but if you don't believe that of you, what somebody gonna say? You're selfish. Me? I'm selfish? Okay. And I start evaluating myself. I wonder if I am selfish. Then I get to thinking, well, dang, I give this away, give that away. Somebody asked me for this, I give them that. They asked me for $1, I give them $5. They ask me for a ride to the corner, I take them all the way home. They ask me for some clothes or something. I give them everything, or get them whatever they need or whatever. Like, I don't know if I'm selfish or not, but I don't believe I'm selfish. And that's what Job do. A lot of people, when he went to the pastors and ministers and all of that, they don't call him that in the book. They call him, the Pharisees and the Sadducees and all that. But nevertheless, when he asked him, he was like, the Lord, this done happened, that done happened to me, all this bad stuff done happened to me. I don't know what I did to tick off the Lord. I just don't know what I done did. They said, you done did something. And he was like, no, I went through everything. And I mean, he even, if he didn't get somebody the day off from work, he would know that was wrong. And Job was a good servant. So he went to the preachers and the ministers, and he wondered, what did he do wrong? And all of them was telling him, you did something wrong. You did something wrong. And the whole entire time, Job did not do anything wrong. His kids partied. That's when they went up in a whirlwind. His wife told him, just cuss him out. And he was like, no, he tearing up our house. Just cuss him out. He done killed the kids. We was rich, and now look at us. You look foolish with all the things all on your skin and leprosy and your skin peeling and warts and stuff all on you and pus coming out. You look at you. Just cuss him out, and he still didn't do it. But what he did do that made me question, like, do you really want God to talk to you? Because let me tell you something. If you've never, people be like, I talk to him all the time. Yeah. Okay. I get what you're saying. Yeah, you talk to him. But have he talked to you? Hold on. Has he ever talked to you? I asked Moody that. Moody. And what I don't tell him is I've already talked to the Lord about this, and he's told me what he feels about it, which is a good thing for the ones that has not. Because the Lord be like, but you know me. You know what I'm saying? And so it's better for them to not have heard me and believe me instead of you have no excuse. But I was telling him, I was like, have you ever heard the Lord? Have the Lord ever spoke to you? And he just looked at me and he was like, no. But I know. I said, oh, okay. And he was like, well, have you ever heard the Lord? Have the Lord spoke to you? And I was like, yeah. And he looked at me and his smile go to the right a little bit, like, what? I'll be like, Ninja, I ain't got time to play with you. What's all that cricket smiling for? Yeah, I've heard his voice. Okay, you're a Christian. What's the first thing he asked me? What does he sound like? Man, if you don't stop. What do you mean, what do he sound like? You say you have this personal relationship. You don't know what he sound like? See what I'm saying? First of all, I'm going to tell you right now. You try to explain to anybody a spiritual thing. How are you going to explain spirit to a person that is physical? Because even though that they don't claim it, that's what they want to attach to it. It's got to be an attachment of something physical. Man, I can't explain it to you, but I heard him. I heard him loud and clear. And he wasn't yelling and screaming. His voice was very soft. What are you talking about? Surely you've heard. You say you talk to him, you got a relationship. You mean you got a relationship with God and he ain't said not one word to you? Come on now. Y'all playing games. I'm just saying. People talk it all the time. I'm not the one. Why would I sit there in my whole life just because it sound good and sit there and be like, I got a personal relationship with him? To have a personal relationship, you at least got to know his voice when you hear it. But you don't know it. When you have a personal relationship, you don't even, look, check this out. And this right here is going to be the nail in the coffin. Check this out. You as a child and you and your mother goes into the store. You know right from wrong, right? So you go in the store. First thing you do, and you run it, and you slide right over there by the Reese's, and you pick up the Reese's, and you look at your mama. Your mama ain't gotta say nothing. She ain't gotta say nothing because guess what? You guys got this personal relationship, right? That when you look at her and she look at you, you know already to put it down and get your tail back over there and quit running in that store. You already know. But if you hear your mama call your name and she say, let's say for instance, your name is Lisa, and she say, Lisa, and she say it like that, something's wrong. And you know what? It's something could be wrong when she say, Lisa. It's the way she say it. You see what I'm saying? So I was trying to explain to him. He wasn't yelling at me. He wasn't screaming at me. He just told me, don't do this and don't do that. He told me, don't go home. And I'm like, what? I knew then. I was like, my mind was like, it's some kind of warp thing. It was like, I mean, it was just ticking it was just spinning around like, what did I just hear right then? And I was like, I wonder if I can hear it again. And I said, what? And he said, don't go home. And my mind is going, now hold on, think about it. You know right now what's in your heart. Something's going on with your kids, your husband, and things ain't right. You feeling, and you want to go home and you finna act a fool. Somebody's finna get hurt. And you hear that? They're going to send you to the crazy house. Okay, never mind. But here's the thing. It's got to be the Lord's voice. Because guess what? Okay, let's do some calculation. Let's some simple math. Minus the Lord. Okay, if it was the devil or a demon, they would have told me, hurry up, get home, and go straight and get your gun. But this voice is telling me, don't go. And my kids is at home. This voice is telling me in a soft voice, like, you will know. You will know. Right then, you will know. And when he asks you to do something, it's never going to be something you want to do. I want to go home. That's where I want to go, where my kids are at, where I might have to take this nigga out. That's where I want to go. And you're telling me not to go? What is so important to get my Father, my Lord, to let me hear his voice and tell his child to don't go where my kids are at? It would have to be the Lord, because I can't listen to nobody else. It can't be nobody else, because not even my mother can tell me not to go home. I put that on everything. My mother can't tell me. My mother be on the phone begging and crying. Baby, please don't go home. Baby, please don't go home. No, Mom, I'm going home right now. I'm going home right now. I'm finna take care of this. You're going to let me hear my kids. You're going to let me see my kids. That's what you're going to let me do. Don't play with me with my kids. And this voice tells me to don't go. But he says it like this: don't go home. That's when you know you heard God's voice. There's no other voice you're going to listen to that's going to make sense. And your mind works over and over so quick and fast. It's like that quantum leap. It's like it's just ticking. You're trying to listen to every sound. Don't go home. I got to get this right. This got to be the Lord. It's got to be. Because I know what's in my heart. And if things don't look right when I get home, I'm going to prison. I know that's where I'm headed. I know for sure. Because I'm not finna play with this monkey anymore. Now he done put my kids in this situation. Yeah. And I haven't heard it since. But it's the way that he said, and it was not a female. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I don't know if there is such a difference or whatever, but it wasn't a female's voice. And I'm just telling you guys, it might be what I can comprehend. So some people want to know. So I'm just saying. But I did hear that. But when I asked Moody was like no, like, so I asked him, well, what does he sound like to you? And he was like, I don't hear his voice audibly. Okay. I don't look at it like, okay, well, that's, like it ain't nothing to brag about. And matter of fact, it even tells you in the Bible, because because you've heard, But there's many that haven't heard, but they believe. It makes me a little sad because they are more the way that he explained it to me is it better to know and believe, or to not know but believe? So there's something in my life where I had to know so I could stay in my position with him. Maybe my faith was going to be weak or something, or it could have been shaken or something. But that's what he told me. It's like don't don't try to make fun of or belittle someone that has not heard or seen the signs. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't know or haven't seen and believe, but you know and you've seen, but that's why you believe. You guys get what I'm saying? It makes me a little sad because I think he had to let me know he was real and all of that because maybe I was going to be weak. And I know at one time I was angry with him when I really didn't understand, when I was a just a baby in Christ. I only knew what people taught me and told me. I didn't know, but I asked. I want to know. And then I think it was like in like 2, 3 years, he started showing me, and and that's how I try to tell people this all the time: get out of that what you've been taught stuff, and just go to him and ask him to show you that he's real, and show you that, because he will. And a minister taught me that. A minister said you can go to the Father and ask him to show you him, that he's real, because you want to know. You don't want to make a wrong decision just because people playing with the Bible and playing with your money and playing with your feelings and playing with your heart and everything. But no. So when you make that decision that you want to follow the Lord, then you know what you're dealing with. You're not dealing with somebody's fables and stories that they done added to, taken away, and all this other stuff. You ain't playing with that. Because you can't tell me there's no. See, that's what it was too. Like at one time I was, studying with a Jehovah Witness, but like me and the Lord done had plenty conversations. I walked with him straight for 8 years. So anyway, one day they had invited me to their church, and I went, and it was a loving church. And they go out on Saturdays and stuff, and I'm knocking on doors and asking people to come and join, and they read and pray for them, and then they help you clean your yard up and your roof and stuff. They were just really helping me. But at the same thing, oh, she said, I went to the ABC store for the first time and it was on Sunday, but then I didn't care. But now I respect God. See what I'm saying? Like I said, uh I like what I was taught when I was a kid, that going to the liquor store on Sundays and stuff was like not right. So I had went one time, and yeah, I didn't feel good about it, but it was what I was taught, and I still believe that. So I just don't go. If I was gonna go, I'd be like, oh man, dang, it's Sunday. I'd be like, well, I know it's open, but no, 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 we don't do that. We just, no, we'll just go to the regular store and get some whatever they got over there or something. But nevertheless, um, you just, once you get that relationship and he starts showing you who he is, you know, and he will. Some people, I know they believe and they have not seen the miracles. They have not, like, they think he's this God that back in the day, that's when all of that stuff happened, and none of this stuff happens anymore. The devil is a lie. He's the same God today he was back then. So what he was doing back then, yeah, you'll see a lot. You'll see a lot. And the only thing you got to do, like, people just don't really understand. Like, I think that they really don't want to know because they fear God. But I mean, I fear him, but I'm not scared to have this conversation and ask why this, or I mean, is it wrong to ask why? But like, sometimes I don't get an answer. I just don't. But and sometimes he give me an answer. When he give me an answer, it's just so spiritual, and it's just like, it's like, man, it's just, it's just good. It's like it don't come as often as I would like, but you know, it's all good. It's hard to even explain. You know what I'm saying? Because if I knew what opened up them doors, like if I knew what opened up them doors all the time, I would do it all the time. But it don't, you know. It might be years and years and years. It might be 6, 7, 8 years, and then I hear his voice again or something. Or he'll show me something that's spiritual that is impossible for the physical world to explain. And if you tell anybody, they will go lock you up somewhere because they'd be like, that girl is on some kind of acid or something, you know? Yeah. So yeah. Hmm. But it's all good. It's all good. Freddie said he will show you. Yeah, he will. Tina says, Freddie, that was a battle from hell. My mom had to go to the Social Security office and everything. I think it's like if something said, don't go down that road, and you don't go, and you find out that the street caved in, that was God speaking to you. You know what, Zena? I'm going to tell you, when I was told not to go home, I didn't go home. Now, I went to work because I had left work to go home. So I went back to work and I finished out my shift. And but when I did get home, my ex-husband, he had packed up everything and left. And well, he was still there, but all his stuff was gone. All his stuff and all some of my stuff too. But I didn't care. When I got home and he was like, I'm leaving, I was like, good. He said, you need to change. I said, I am. I'm changing my marriage status, the locks, the keys, everything. Like, you just don't know. Because I look at it like this. Nothing happened that night other than he left. But I can't what we were talking about. When you will not let me talk to my kids on the phone, and I have called 3 times, and you're like, they're outside playing, they're taking their bath, they're eating, I'm not gonna let you talk to them or whatever. And then, you know, we got nothing else to talk about. Like, you want to leave, it's best you do leave, because you will not do that to me. You know what I'm saying? I'll find daycare. My mother watched my kids, so whatever. But you need to relocate, huh? For real, quick. Because if I will not let you back in my kid's life like that. Like, I literally had so much anger in me. Had I got home, yeah, it would have been a different story. That's how I see it. The street didn't cave in. There wasn't no major wreck on my way home. Everything was fine. But when I turned that corner and see my house, I seen a truck in the driveway and it was full of stuff. And I was like, I've never seen that truck before, but it was full of stuff. And I was like, what the heck's going on in my house? I pulled up and I just looked. I walked in the door. He was like, yeah, I'm leaving. I said, oh, okay, he was like, I want this, I want that, I want this, I want half the money that's in the bank, I want all the titles to my cars, I want this, I want that. I was like, okay, you gonna get what's yours. But let me go check on my kids right now. I ain't touch your kids. Okay, but let me go check and I check my kids, they in the bed sleeping. He ain't touched them. But I told him to go ahead and leave, and I'll get him his stuff. And that's what I did. And then I went and filed for a divorce. Not because that's just too much for me. You know what I'm saying? That's too much. Like, if I would have went home and some woman was packing out his stuff and my stuff, or his family or whatever, while my kids was out there playing, and He was making it like the kids didn't know what was going on. They didn't know that, he took this and took that, and he took everything that he possibly can, which, I don't really care, but you know. And let me tell you something. I got two big bags, and anything that had his name on it, his picture, his face, anything he brought in my house, I put it all in these big old bags and put them in a cab, and gave the cab an address, and told the cab driver to take that over to the address, and that's what the cabbie did. Took his stuff over to his mother's house, divorce papers and all. Mm-hmm. And that was it. And like, I didn't see him no more. Like, no more. But one day, like, he wanted to try to work it out. He wanted to come home, and he was like, I was mad at you. And you know what? I really don't care what it was. I don't care if he wanted to go spend the night with somebody. I don't care what he was thinking. You would not let me talk to my kids. So now you got me twisted. You got me thinking like I'm finna go to prison. Literally, I'm finna go to prison because no. And that's not only a red flag, that is the flag. Like, I can't see nothing but red. I'm just being honest with you guys. So like, I had that much anger in my heart that I know I would have stepped in that door. I'm telling you guys what I would have done, because I'm wondering why you're not letting me talk to my kids or see my kids or listen to them or know that they're okay or just ask them a question or something. I know something's going on, but whatever. You know, trust me. He write me a letter and say, "Oh, I'm in jail and I just need some help. I'll pay you back. I got in a little trouble." And da 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 da. I read the letter. I did. I read the letter, and guess what? I didn't tear it up. I just threw it in the trash, and I kept going with my life. I didn't go ah ha ha ha, but you know, I wasn't hurt like in love. I just felt like marriage is supposed to be forever. And I just feel like I know God don't like divorce. He says it. I see what I'm saying? Like, when you know God's words, you know he doesn't like divorce. But he said at the beginning there was no divorce. So those of you, I felt like the hardest thing to do is to divorce my husband. But I'm thinking, if I don't, I'm going to prison, and then what about my kids? You know what I'm saying? Like I can't even let him do this again, ever, 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 to tell me that he will not let me speak to my kids. See, it ain't the cheating, because you done been caught 2 or 3 times. But now you got me out of my peaceness, that I will literally walk away from my job and lose my job and come home and take you out of this world. That is my whole thought process. No asking questions. If something don't look right when I get to the house, or my kids are crying and they say you did something, you touched them or whatever, I'm done. I'm like a turkey on Thanksgiving. And I know this. There's no way I can come back from that. There's no way. So I don't want to be still married to a person and never have another relationship in my life because I messed up or we messed up and you didn't take the marriage seriously after, you know what? We got a lot of money. We do. Money don't bring happiness. It just don't, you guys. Because the money that we were making, we made money. Them women didn't want him. He was good looking. Don't get me wrong. You know, I don't date ugly men, but he was the most best looking man I've done had. But and you know, everything worked in the bedroom great. But no. No. No, we're not doing that. So, you know, I come home sometimes and I be like, well, dang, did I, you know, level up? Yeah, I believe I leveled up because I have peace in my life. That's it. It ain't a money thing. It ain't, you know, sex thing. It ain't looking good. It's peace, you know. I can come home and I can be myself. Um, there, you know, and I always thought that there's nobody, you know, like I'm damaged goods because I'm married now, divorced. And you just think bad, you know, people, oh, I heard you was married, and I just break down and start crying. Woo, you know. So, you know, when you see this woman, you know, over here, I just letting you guys know, uh, I had to get off in that book and I had to study for myself. Nobody couldn't tell me how I should feel because I felt like a failure to God. You know what I'm saying? I know some of you guys know what I'm saying. That's what I feel like. But, you know, some people be like, well, you got a divorce and da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. I'm going to tell you guys something. I did not want to live the rest of my life by myself just because I married somebody that did not really, truly love me. They didn't. They wouldn't have done none of that stuff because love wouldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all make mistakes. I can forgive, having, someone having an affair. I can forgive stuff like that. But the worst thing that you can do to a woman is have me thinking, for me, because of my upbringing, have me thinking that my kids is in danger. Like, I can't trust you with my kids. And when I can't trust you with my kids, there's nothing left. There's nothing left. Like, I don't care how good the sex is. I don't care how good you look. You can look like Billy D. Williams and you can, shoot, whatever. Get out of here. When I tell you guys something, I tell you, y'all be like, SP. When I say this man was good looking, he was fine. Shoot. He was short. And I don't like that. But that's the only thing that I didn't like. But shoot. And you know what I'm saying? And we worked good together when we were building our empire of all our stores and everything. Yeah, we had some ups and downs about the store and the decisions and stuff. But guess what? It was working. It was working. But I tell you what, that's why I tell you, we all are, they not like us. We look at these women and like, say, for instance, Rebecca. You know, I don't know if Rebecca done something or Jake done something. I can't even think about it because Jake is out there, but they say he ain't helping searching, but he out there with him. The heck you out there in the desert with him, just looking at him, looking for your kid, and you just standing there, you know? And they say, oh, he ain't helping. Y'all lying. Y'all lying. Y'all know something. But I tell you what, you would think, and I thought for a long time, well, I tried it, and I don't want to do that again, and then I done did it again. But this time I think I did a little better. But all the things I had with the first, I ain't got with this one. But at least I got a peace of mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all I got, you guys. I got a peace of mind. And if you think that is not a good thing to have, where, just, you know what I'm saying? My kids are not in the house and they're all grown. My youngest is 25. She'll be 25 this year. I got a 25-year-old, a 35-year-old, and a 33-year-old. All my kids are grown. All of them I raised. I don't want to come home to problems and hollering and arguing, and you want to go out and party and all this other stuff, and then you got a kid that's innocent, and you got a grown man in the house. A 7-month-old baby come up missing. Naziah, 13, have full-blown relationship for two plus some years. And nobody knew. Girl, please. Better miss me with that. Better miss me with that. No. You can't tell a real woman y'all did not know. You know. And that's why when we look at these cases, we get really angry with Rebecca. I'm just being honest with you. That's why we get angry at Rebecca. It's like, how is it that you don't know where your 7-month-old child is? You know. You made up this lie about somebody hit you in the back of the head, because that is a bald-faced lie. That means you are assisting this man or yourself. But you know what happened to that kid. Now, like I said, I cannot tell who did what because I wasn't there. I don't have no evidence other than Jake got a history and Rebecca is lying. Freddie said, God wants us to be happy, not unhappy. You needed a peace of mind. Yeah, I needed a peace of mind. Yes, I did. I needed a peace of mind. And so I was driving home the other day from work, and I was wondering, I was like, man, everybody want the men that make money and all this other stuff. And when you get older, and they can't work like they was working and all this other stuff, and I don't know. It's just like, man, you will want this and you will want that and all this other stuff. And I was in the car and I was talking to the Lord and I was like, Lord, what do I got? And the Lord told me, you got a peace of mind. That's what you got. You can go home and take off your clothes and walk around the house butt naked. Ain't nobody going to say nothing. They going to look at you, cover you up or whatever, till you go sit your flat butt down somewhere or whatever, whatever. But I definitely got it. If I want to clean up, I clean up. If I don't, I don't. The end. What about that? I don't care. Am I comfortable? Yeah, I'm comfortable, but like, so there's could be people out there got better marriages than you or me and all this other stuff, or they can live, you know, without each other or something, or see each other just here and there or whatever, make it work or whatever. My mother was married for 20, well, she was married for 26, I think she said 26 years, but she had to be married longer than that. I think she was married 36, 30, about 36 years. I don't know. She was married before me. I got to look at her death certificate and her marriage certificate. But anyway, like, and she was not with my dad the whole entire marriage. She was only with my dad for the first 7 years. And she got a baby every year. 2 in 1 year. Huh. It's crazy. But she did. But we stair step all down. Some of them not even a year apart. But anyway, and I'd be like, my mom be like, today's my anniversary. And I'll just look at her and I'll be like, you don't even know. Like, that man ain't been in your life in 30, 40, 50 years. You still talking about today's my anniversary. But I would say be okay. Back then, the adults stayed married. No matter what. They just stayed married. Even though they wasn't together. You know? And I don't understand it. I don't understand why they stay married. It makes things complicated. But that's not my decision. Like I said, I can't live like that. Some people can and some people can't. But, the Lord does not like for us to 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 be delegating in marriages, and marriages between a man and a woman. Okay, but now it's between who and whoever else. It doesn't, it's not the same back then, but they define a marriage as a man and a wife. But nevertheless, you guys get what I'm saying. So anyway, um that's what I'm saying. Like the way I was raised, that's what I know. Like, and in my eyes, I feel like I was raised as right as my mom could raise me. And so I don't know no other way to go. I can't, you know, I'm not going to sit there and bash somebody because, a woman and a woman gets married, or a man and a man get married. I don't understand it. I got people in my family and I love them to death, but I don't understand it, you guys. And they know I can't understand it because that's not what I've been taught or raised. So don't get mad at me because, like, if you only know peanut butter and never know jam, and you was raised on nothing but peanut butter, and somebody try to introduce jam to you, well, that just defines the whole peanut butter sandwich. Now it's peanut butter and jelly. It's not just peanut butter sandwich anymore, which, I'm not saying that it's a good thing, a bad thing, or, whatever, I'm just saying, like the strong people back then, when they raised children, they raised us to, this is what this is truth. you know and they talk to you. The adults will talk to the kids and tell them, you don't do this and you do that. You don't do this and you do that. And that is what you learn from your environment. And you know if Other things came out of your environment, and that's what you were taught. I'm just saying, you guys, like, you can't go telling other people that they're wrong about this or wrong about that. You don't know what God is working on them on, you know. She said, I know it's over when I can't stand to see you or talk or hear you talk. Exactly. Like my mother, she had stair step kids. Yep. She had two on the same day, different year. I was number 15. I think it would have been more, but my dad died too. Shoot, girl. I got 21 in my family. 20 freaking one. Cena said, you stayed good, bad, or indifferent. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. My mom and dad, they they married to the day they died. I think my dad is still alive. I think he's in a nursing home though. Last time I heard he was in a nursing home. They would have called and told me if he died, but whatever. It doesn't matter to me because at the end of the day, he lives his life. I've never really had a father or had a stepfather, which was no good either. So, that'd be that. So, like I said, when people like my husband, he has a father and he has a relationship with his father. And it just blows my mind how they have a relationship. And he calls him here and there. And his father really wasn't in his life a lot, but he was there enough to at least know him and come and see him and buy presents and whatever. My dad did none of that. None. Zero. How many times he come and visit you? Zero. You can count him on no fingers. How many times you see him? Zero. How many times you talk to him? Zero. Did he know about you? Yeah. Yeah. And guess what? And out of all my brothers and stuff, we all look alike. We all look alike, y'all. So you can't deny we got one brother that's a little bit lighter than everybody else because I'm dark. All my brothers a little dark skinned, but my one brother, he light skinned like my mom. My mom was light skinned until she started doing that dialysis. She got dark. She looked like she was out in the sun baking. 15 kids. Well, it was during the baby boom. My mom was every almost 2 years. Yeah, they pushed them kids out. That's when you would get a good check for a kid too. Shoot. Shoot. You know. Yeah. Anyway, you guys, we had good conversation. We talked about Emmanuel and the update, which was really nothing that they did, but push back some more court dates, the settlement of the felony charge, and then when the preliminary hearing date is 1 week after that. That's the only update on there. I think the DA is going to stop putting out bad words about what the judge done did. They got their point across. They done already threw it out there. The judge made a bad decision. So, and that makes people mad too. That makes people mad when somebody have hurt a kid and it's the parents, and now they didn't even get no jail time, and then now here's another kid that's done came up missing, and we don't even know where he at. you know so it's bad for Jake, and it makes Jake look really bad, and Jake probably has done something. Who knows? I don't know. Allegedly, they say that he did. He does look like the person that would do it because he's a man, and he had a previous child that in his care, and his ex-wife, the child came up deformed, and the child is still living. But I mean, what kind of life is the child got? She can't look, she can't look, she can't see. I don't even know if she can hear. But I mean, she can't stand up, she can't walk, she can't eat, nothing. She had healing broken ribs and a hemorrhaging brain damage. And he's like, oh, I dropped her on the divider of the sink. Dude, please, what kind of lie? Man, please. You're talking about somebody have a whole broken back. You talking about, oh, they fell from the bed. They got healing ribs and broken, and bleeding brain damage. Bleeding brain damage? You beat that child and thought she was, and then the mama gonna say, I took her to the doctor because she wasn't sucking anymore on the nipple when she was breastfeeding. He's just like another Jarvis. These weak women he get, and these women sit there and they be like, so when somebody say, like, oh, I want to have a relationship, I want a man, I want a husband, I the Bible tells you, like, it is for some people, and some people it is just not. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I got to get off of here too. Freddie said, I have to go. I do too. We was on here, and it is now time for me to go pick up Pooh Bear, and it is raining. So you guys, let's just keep praying for these people, and we'll be able to, just make our life a little bit better. All right, you guys. I'll see you guys later. Be good, be great, be nice to each other. Bye.